Welcome to the Cover Your Assets podcast, a show for the physician who understands the importance of protecting everything you've worked so hard to achieve. If you're ready to find the peace of mind that only financial security can bring, let's get started. Here's your host, Billy Gwaltney.
Hey there, welcome to today's episode of the Cover Your Assets podcast. This is Billy Gwaltney. I'm your host as always, and it's good to be with you today. Today's topic is a question that comes up somewhat frequently. Can I collect from my private disability policy and my employer's group LTD policy at the same time? And that's an excellent question. I work with many physicians across the country. We start working with most of our clients when they're still in the training and residency or fellowship. There's a specific amount of insurance that the top carriers will allow physicians to purchase while they're in training. And then as you become an attending, incomes go up, and most of our clients work in employers where they offer group long-term disability or they require them to take some portion of it. And so there's this formula that I've covered in other podcasts that the top carriers utilize to calculate how much additional insurance you can buy as an attending based on your higher income. Part of the formula is any group long-term disability, group LTD, that your employer requires you to accept. There's usually a percentage, like 60% of your income up to say $10,000 per month. And a portion of that counts against how much private coverage you can buy. And so most of our clients maximize their private coverage and they have the group LTD through their employer. Then the question becomes, hey, if I'm disabled, what happens? Is there a primary or secondary? Can I collect from both? Do they offset each other? And the bottom line is that you can collect from both. You're eligible to collect from both. Okay. So all of our clients, we do have clients on claim. All of our clients on claim, if they have an employer group LTD policy and they have their private insurance, they're going to go through a claim process with both companies. Okay. Basically completing very similar forms for both insurance policies. And they're going through that claim process simultaneously, kind of parallel tracks. If you meet the definition of disability for both policies, you're eligible to collect from both policies. There's not a primary and a secondary. They don't offset. They can't look at your other policy and say, hey, you're collecting from that one, so we don't owe you, and that kind of thing. You're eligible to collect from both. The issue is that, do you meet the definition of disability for both? That's the key element. Typically, you're with our clients on claim, they all meet the definition of disability for their private policy. It's the most comprehensive coverage you can get. If you do it right, you're going to be paid if your doctor says you can't do your specialty. Employer coverage is much different and much less comprehensive and much more combative. And over half our clients never collect from their group LTD policy. They do collect from their private insurance, but they often do not collect ever from their group LTD. We had one client, she collected for about 6 to 9 months, and then she got a letter saying they did an audit and they realized she should have collected from she should have applied for Social Security. She didn't. And now she owed them that money back. I mean, it was just a nightmare for her. She got it worked out. The good news is that she counted on her private disability coverage, and that's what paid the bills. And so that's what our clients we stress continually. Most of our clients do. They maximize their private coverage. That's what you count on if you become disabled. And if your employer policy does pay, it's icing on the cake. The reason I've done other podcasts for this, but just real quick, the reason employer group LTD policies are weaker is because of adverse selection. By law, they have to cover every employee regardless of health. So the least healthy employee gets the same policy as the healthy employee. In the insurance world, that's called adverse selection, and it can bankrupt insurance companies, and they will do whatever they have to do to avoid that. And the way they avoid that, they still want to sell your employer a group LTD policy, But the way they offset that risk is by watering down the definition. So they may call it, you may see a PDF slick that says its own occupation, but how they define that is very different, okay? COVID proved medicine can be practiced virtually. So you may go into clinic to do surgery or see patients from room to room, but if you hurt your back and can't do that, then your private policy is going to pay you, and then you could do telemedicine if you wanted to and make an unlimited income, and there's no penalty to your benefit. But the group LTD policy may say, a lot of times would say, hey, you can do medicine virtually, log into a laptop, and we don't consider you to be disabled. And so it's like night and day. So the bottom line, you are eligible to collect from both. It's a big if as to whether or not you would collect from both. Your private policy, if structured properly, is very reliable. The group employer policy, LTD policy, is much less reliable. Buyer beware, the devil's in the details. Message me here if you would like to discuss. Be happy to do that. You can text me at 704-270-2376. Again, 704-270-2376. Thank you as always for your time. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to the Cover Your Assets podcast, an Odd Conduit Media production. New episodes drop every 2 weeks. If you've enjoyed the conversation, subscribe, rate, and review this podcast. For more tips and advice, visit the website and YouTube channel. Check the show notes for links. Join us next time for another episode dedicated to helping physicians like you get your disability insurance right and protect your way of life.